Hello guys, my name is Adrian and welcome to my channel. This is the first live stream in a very long series, let's say. Like I said in the videos, mostly on this channel, in the videos we will work on the game engine. In the live streams we will work on games. And today we will start a project. Just to have the context, I had another channel, a very small channel, let's say, compared to this. And there I was working on this project stone for a while. It was not that very advanced. And because I don't have access to that channel anymore, I decided to start the series all over again. So, for those that are new to the channel, I'm using here C++, OpenGL. I'm trying not to use any existing libraries. I'm trying to do everything myself, let's say. As an IDE, I'm using CLion. Okay, I have a license for it. The link, just a second. I will put the link into the description right now because I observed that I don't have it. Okay, just a second. Now it's in the description of the channel. So, how we'll do this game? We'll do this game, like I said, with our small engine. We decided that this engine should be made with the modularity in mind. So, what's that about? On GitHub, linked in the description, you can see that we have a series of modules. We have the platforms module, the one that is responsible for the window. We have the graphics, the one that will be responsible for all the OpenGL objects and Vulkan later on. And by combining those modules, for each game, we can have a, let's say, dedicated game engine. This is how I wanted to do it. And like I said, we have a game to be made. The game looks or should look something like this. So, about the game, it will be a tactical turn-based RPG, let's say like this. So, you will have two stages. One, it will be like similar with Heroes 3, where you have the map and you go around the map and doing whatever you want. It is also inspired from Battle Brothers, if we can say that. And we have the phase where you kind of are in combat. And in combat, we kind of, this is the draft that we have. We have graphics for like each element, it's separated. Like I said previously, I had another channel which I had access to it. And in that channel, on that channel, I worked like mostly on the map generation in a, I don't know, some percentage. And also I finished the navigation on it. But because I don't want to start with a project on this new channel that it's from like, I don't know, I started from some percentage or with something that it's, let's say, already completed, but let's say that other people are new to this channel and they don't know about that project. I decided to start the project from scratch again. So, what we'll try to achieve, we'll do kind of something similar. We will try to, and we will start with the world building, let's say, we'll try to make the world map. After that, we'll introduce a little of the navigation because it's easier. And the next step will be combat after the navigation, because you need navigation mostly when you are in combat. And later on, we'll decide, we will implement probably the trade system in the game because we want to have an economy in it and AI and so on. But before that, what we need to start is with the project. We need to set up a project first, and we kind of need to do it. So what we start first with, we create a CMake list, like I said, or if I didn't mention, now it's a good time. I'm using CLion as an IDE, and the build system that we will use for the C++, it will be CMake. I like CMake a lot. You can see it also in the videos during the development of the platforms module. So we have the README, we have the project. Let's load this project, of course. Okay, and some things are missing, so now it's a good time to add them. By the way, at any moment, if you have questions, don't hesitate. Also, if you are around, it will be a good feedback to let me know if I don't know, if you can hear me well and so on. Good. Because this is the first stream here on the channel, and I messed up with some settings, so it will be good to see if we have any problems. So, like always, in the CMake project, in the main folder, we need to specify the minimum required version for the CMake. So we'll use 4.0 because this is supported by the let's say the CLion. It is like bundled inside. So we have the project, just a second, project stone as a name. We first, how I mostly, let's say, structure a project. Most of the time, when I'm using CMake, I have a folder which I call code, one which I call modules, and in the modules, I'm putting the modules that I'm developing, and other than that, no more. Let's add a CMake for each. Okay, and in the main file, we can have add subdirectory, and first we'll include the modules, and after that we'll include the code. You can, if you want to follow this series, you can skip this line. It's just more of a, let's say, personal. Okay, before I adding more modules here or the code, I want to add something else. I want to add a file called CMake presets, I think, sets JSON. It's some file that was added for, let's say, for the CMake in the recent versions. Now I'm going on the internet and I'm copying some schema for a JSON because this is a JSON. So if you worked before with the JSONs, you know that you always need to have a schema, or how it's pronounced, and some version for it. And let's try to add some options. So what is this about? This CMake preset JSON helps you to kind of put some, let's say, some options for the CMake, and by having them into a JSON, it's much easier to edit them than going through the IDE and put them in the IDE and store them there. Okay, so the first thing that we need to have, just a second, let's try to reload this to see if the, okay, so the first option is CMake minimum required. Okay, I think we have just a second. We need to activate an option here to reload automatically or to reload any change that we have in CMake. Oh, okay, so we'll start with the major, which should be 4, with the minor, which should be 0. Other than that, we are doing something like configure presets. These are some objects, and we'll start. We'll have a name. Okay, the name, and it will be default. Okay, default we have here. Just a second, another one. Generator should be the next one. And it will not be Ninja, it will be Visual Studio 2022. Sorry. And after that, we have these cached variables. Cache variables. This is the most important part. And the first option that we want to do is CMake, C++ standard. Okay, and we put 23 here. Standard required, it will be another one that is very important for us. And we have it as on. CMake, C++ standard libraries, and we keep this as empty. Very important. Libraries. Okay. And after that, we have CMake runtime, output directory, and here we will use build, and we'll have directory debug. We make a copy paste, and we put also some release situation here. And let's align this. Okay. And another option that I want is like binary director, and this will be CMake. Okay, let's. Okay, so now just a second. Let's remove this. Let's enable the default cached variables. Let's see. It's not cached, it's cache. Okay, and in the Visual Studio, okay, it's generator. Okay, that's perfect. We get an warning that we specify this manually. It's okay. Let's have this warning. Sorry. Okie dokie. And now, what we need to do now? After the so what we did, for example, here, it was just to kind of configure the CMake in a way. This is something new. I started recently to kind of make this. Presets. Okay, and now these are the configuration presets, and now we are having the building preset. This is not needed to be done every time. This is kind of something that you are doing like once when you are starting the project. Configuration. Good. So in my case, I am done with it. Okay, we are done. We can continue. Let's see. Like I said, if you have questions, guys, I'm always open to questions. And if you can give me a sign that everything it sounds well and nice, and I'm not screwing this live stream, it will be great. Some feedback, that will be great. Thank you. So we have the configuration. Mostly we'll use the default one, which, by the way, in CMake, the default one, it's the debug one, okay? And I added one for the release, but we will work mostly just with the default one, which should be the DB. And if you are looking nicely here and close, you see that we specify that to have Visual Studio, and we specify some build folder for the CMake, and so on. So that's quite simple and useful. So now we can delete this folder, and let's continue. Okay, now what we can do. Another thing that I need to do here, because we don't have an engine, and when you have an engine like Unity or Unreal, most of the time you have something like a project that you can create, and you don't see these configurations so often. Most of the time you need to have some configuration for your project in any major game engine. But because we don't have like a game engine with interface and everything is like very code based here, we kind of need to do such things. We don't have an external, our engine is not like an external application, and it will be always part of the game. Okay, it will not be like an external application like you have it. You take Unity and you kind of do some things, and it will output for you some executable, some I don't know, files for the resources and so on. Now, for us, the game, when you are choosing from CMake to run the game in the release mode, to be sure that it will strip all the editor codes, for example. Good. Another file that is very useful when you are working with Git mostly is this git ignore. In it, I'll put the build folder because I don't want to have the executable around. The CMake folder, which is kind of very full of a lot of files that happens under the hood in CMake. And I will be sure that we don't add any IDE. This is from the CLion, the folder. I'll be sure that we don't add any executable. And I think in a way we can remove these two, but let's have it just in case. So let's start and let's try to add the modules. The only modules, or the first module that we will start with, let's say it will be the platforms module, the one that we did all the videos about and so on. We will start with that. After that, later on, when we'll work on more modules, we will add them to this project, of course. Okay, so let's talk about the modules. I will go on GitHub. You have the link in the description. You can go there. If you have the time and you have a GitHub account, you can give them, let's say, a like. So how these are working, I'm taking the link from the GitHub, git submodule add a modules / platforms. I'm adding, I'm cloning, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now we have the platforms here, very nice and friendly. What remains for us, it's to go and like add subdirectory platforms. Okay, we have everything that we worked here on the videos. So with it, we will be able to kind of create a window. That's cool and nice and very helpful for us. And yeah, let's continue. Good. Now, inside here, how we will do the work. It's like this. We'll have 3 folders for this project at least. It will be the game. We'll have one for the game engine and one for the game editor. Okay. We we'll start just with the game now and see how it works. So, in the game, of course, we added a CMake file, add subdirectory, and we will choose to add a game. And in game, like in each of the projects, we'll have a core, sorry, not for, not yet. And in here, add subdirectory core. Inside the core, we'll add another one, sorry, not this one, another CMake, but this will be the last one. Okay, let's also add a source file, which will be the main source file. Main, let's have auto main int return 0. Okay, that's good. In the core here, what we'll have to do, it will be like this. We'll have a project game. We'll use languages C++. I know, for some of you, maybe this doesn't look like making games for now. Okay, because we are writing a lot of code. But hang with me, at some point, it will become like a key. Okay, add executable, and we will use the key. Okay. And now into the core, because this is how I like to do all the stuffs. Mostly we'll have like target include directory, project name, private, and 2 points to kind of include, like every time I'm using, if I'm having another folder outside of core, to be able to use something like core / blah 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 when I want to include something. Target, link, libraries, project name, of course, project name, and we'll have platforms module for now. Okay, and target sources, project name, it will be private main CPP, and of course, private here should be the keys. So now all the configuration that we did in the presets here, now you can see the default here. We have the default activated, and we have the platform module. If we want to build it, we can build it separately. It will take all the code from the module and it will be compiled. And we have the game. If we are running the game now, everything is okay. We are running and we're not showing anything so far. Good. So let's continue. What we want to do further. Further, I want to include also here one CMake, why not, and make it available here. Subdirectory, game engine, and probably this should be put here. Because first we want to include the game engine in the code, and after that, the game of the code. Good. So, what we can do further? Further, what we can do is to have our window, okay, to initialize. Let's see, we already have 25 minutes. Still no feedback if the sound is well, but I hope it is well. Okie dokie. So, what we are doing? Include core window manager. Very simple and classy. Core window manager, and we have the window manager. What we'll have for it? Window manager. We can make an init, and in it we'll use make unique, and it will be Windows platform factory. Okay. And this is how we initialize our window manager. Of course, later on, this window manager, it will be in some engine, game engine class, something like this, or game manager or whatever, but probably game engine. And we kind of we will not see it like in here. And probably later on in future games, when we will develop another one, we will copy and paste the code for the game. Maybe I will make it available at some point on GitHub to be as a separate as a separate repo. Why not? Okay, and give me a second. Just a second. Okay, good. So we have the window manager. That's one thing to do. What we can do further is like window manager window show. We can show the window. What we need to do further, it's to create like something. I'll put it somewhere around here because I like to align things. Window active or status. Window status doesn't matter. Window active equal with, or we'll put true directly to skip the equal. And what we will do with it, while the window active variable, it's true, we will do something. And the first thing that we will do will be window manager update. Okie dokie. And of course, at the end, we'll have the window manager release. If I'm running now the code, we kind of have an error. That's quite interesting. So why do we have the error? Because in the back, I'm trying to create a window context for the OpenGL. But because I'm trying in my window manager to create an advanced window or an OpenGL context, an advanced one, like for version 3 or 4 plus, let's say, I'm getting an error because when you want to kind of have an OpenGL context that supports the version 3.3, I think, plus, you need to kind of do it in a very different way. So how it is working? We need first to create a basic, a very, very bare bone kit version of a window context. After that, you need to, of course, for it, you need to create a window. You need to create a window context. You need to initialize some pointers to some functions that becomes available just when you kind of, let's say, have this bare bone kit, or at least a minimum version of an OpenGL context. After that, you get the pointers. This becomes available, like I said, just after you created a window, a dummy window. This in GLFW is considered a dummy window. You can consider it like this if you want. After that, you can delete the context, you can delete the window, but the pointers will remain. And after that, you create another window with another context, which is kind of ready to be kind of initialized like an advanced OpenGL context. So for me, I'm missing the bare bone kit, let's say, window context. I didn't want to make this creation of the bare bone window context part of our platforms module, because at some point I will use Vulkan. So this OpenGL I will kind of share the experience in the videos on how it can be used in the game engine, but it will be just for a while. So we are learning something about OpenGL, but after that we are moving to Vulkan. In Vulkan, You don't need to create a window context for it. Okay. Everything is made different. The window is separate from the Vulkan. Okay. Doesn't have anything with the graphics API. You just kind of, when you like, let's say the graphics part, it's created and maintained separate in your application. So I'm using OpenGL just because in the beginning, to be honest with you, it's much easier to kind of set up, let's say the pipeline. After that, you can kind of, after you have something on the screen, you set up some things, you kind of specify, you have a structure in your game engine, whatever, you can kind of change it to DirectX, Vulkan, and so on. I'm a big fan of Vulkan, so we'll get stick with it. If I started this game engine series and so on with Vulkan, it will be much harder to kind of start and so on. So that's why we choose that. Okay, so how do we do the base stuff? The base stuff is like this. First, I will move this one. I will take it from here and I will do the constant std unique pointer core base platform factory. We'll call it factory, why not? And you see we can put it like this, added a new. Most of the time I'm using like equal blah blah, but if it works like this, why not? I can call it platform factory, why not? Doesn't matter. So the first thing that we are doing, we are using the platform factory here. Now what we want to do, constant auto window equal with the platform factory create window. We, just a second, we want to have, not here, sorry. I see that my AI remember what I did on the videos. And for this, we'll create a base window context. Okay. After that, we create a window context. And for it, for the window context, we will just call create. And of course, we need to specify the window because the window context in OpenGL needs the handle of the window. Okay. Let's continue. So we have the window, we have the context. We need to create something like platforms functions equal with the platform factory, create platform functions. Why I kind of use a factory for these functions? It's because on Linux or any other operating system, they can be different. So if anyone wants to kind of, let's say, override for their system, they are more than welcome to do that. Platform functions. And we have this init window context function. Like I said, after we are kind of moving to Vulkan and we are in a stable situation there, I'm removing everything related to the OpenGL from the game engine and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Good. But for now, we'll keep it like it is. And what we can do in the end, the context, destroy, the window, destroy. Okay. Or most of the time, I'm crazy enough to do something like this. Why not? Okay, let's try to run now the project to see if we get it correctly. So we got it correctly. We have the window. We have the correct window and we need it just because we need to create this extra step. I don't know why the guys from Windows didn't do, or let's say from Microsoft they don't do anything about this situation. I think it could be fixed like a very long time ago, but they don't want to do anything about it. So this is how we continue with it. But if they wanted, maybe they could. What we can do further, it's something like this. So we have our window. If I'm pressing close, it will not be closed. We need to stop it from here. Another thing that we can do is like window manager, window context, and we can update the context. Behind the scene is just the SOP buffer function that you kind of have in GLFW, the SOP buffer stuff. It's kind of comes automatically from the window, because in OpenGL, the buffers, the frame buffers that you are kind of applying into the window, it's kind of, let's say, handled by the window itself. So in Vulkan, things are a little different. You need to, the handling of the SOP, the buffering is like outside the window, so we need to take care of it separate. Okay, so because we handle that context update here, window context update here, now our window is black. We have a background is the default color for the background, for the clear color, and so on. And that's why we have it. Before it was white, if you kind of remember it. Another thing that we can do after we initialize our window manager is to have something like window manager, window events. On we can have callbacks on close, and for on close we can have something like this. We can remove this, of course. And now, because we attach this variable to the on close callback that we have, this approach is similar with what we have in GLFW. So it's not something new that I invented myself. It's a very common approach across the all the game engines, probably, in a way. So now if I'm pressing X, it will close correctly and beautiful. So yeah, we already spent 40 minutes. This was more like a project setup stream, let's call it this way. I don't want to do anything else, probably. Like I said, this is the game that we are trying to achieve. Okay, this is the game that we will try to implement. It will be a serious game. This is not made by AI. It's made by an artist. For this game, I will be myself as the host of the channel, let's say, and the developer, the programmer. And I have another partner which kind of can help with the art and will help with the art. And we want this project to kind of have a release and to be on Steam at some point in time. And yeah, I hope in time we'll have people engage with this one, and people will give feedback in order to make it a good game. And yeah, what to say more about it? What we can do also, and I saw it now, we can also core platform time. Hello, hello. Thank you, thank you. So another thing that we can do is to have the, like I said, we'll have a game engine class at some point, and we want to kind of, just a second. So we have this platform time. This will kind of help us to have the delta time available. Of course, this needs to be updated at the beginning of the loop. And like I said, this platform time, the window manager, and other stuff, the input manager that we will have, and it will be available at some point. We will kind of move them inside the game engine. For the input manager, it's kind of very, let's say, simple. For the input manager, just a second, we need, of course, to include core input manager. Let's sort these stuffs. Okay, core input manager. This is the input manager. We don't have an init function for it. Is that this is how I develop it. Another thing that we need to do, we need to, because I developed, I handle all the window events with callbacks and all that stuff. We kind of need to, of course, like I said, this will be done in a game engine class. It will not need to be done for each project that I will do. But what we need to do is something like window manager. We have the window events, of course, not window input. We have the callbacks, and on key press, for example, we want to put something like input manager. And just a second. And we have something like this. So we are getting from the window, like from the window manager, we are having some window input. I'm talking about the window input as the input that is kind of attached to a window. Probably if you are set up, like if I remember correctly how I did it, if you're having multiple windows, like it will kind of handle the events, or mostly we can kind of look directly. So yeah, for each window, I kind of set up. So it's not like I don't have a singleton here behind the scenes and doesn't matter the window, all the events will be handled. No, each window will have attached some window event to it. So we are having the key press event, the callback, how you want to call it. And we need to send it to the input manager. Let's think of input manager as if you try to use the platform module, let's think of it as a separate entity. It's more like an auxiliary situation stuff. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't want to use it, you still can. So it's not like I was not trying to enforce the usage of it. If you want to use the callbacks and to handle the, I don't know, the keys and all that stuff differently, it's okay. So good. Let's see. So now we are having the keys. The only thing that we need to do here is like input manager, we need to update it. Okay, this will be helpful. This update is used just when you have something like actions. Okay, in my case, for example, I'm not using any action so far, but if I will add an action, it should be like something like this. I can add it, for example, if I want like this here, input manager, input actions, and I can set an action like core input. I want to have code and, for example, key escape, and I want on key escape, I want to send also the window active to this, just a second, to this action. And in here, what I will do, window active, it's false. So if you want for how I created this window, or not window, sorry, input manager, you can set some actions. And if you are setting these actions, you need also to specify the input manager update. If you don't want to specify this, if you don't have actions and you don't want to use actions at all, you have also the alternative like input manager pressed. and you can choose if some key is pressed. You can put like an if you want, and in here you can have something like core input state, and the state should be pressed list and so on. I don't know why we having here. Oh, I think for the pressed I let it as boolean, so it's even better. Okay, I could kind of return, for example, for this pressed I could return directly the value and let you know if I want it as pressed, as released, and so on. But from my experience, what I saw, most of the time you are checking if something is pressing. Okay, if we are doing a camera system or so, most of the time you're not thinking if like I am released. No, it's more like I am pressed. So that's why maybe I choose just to have it as a boolean part. Okay, this is the code behind, and yeah, I kind of checked the pressed inside the situation. Otherwise, I could kind of, let's say, return this situation, like for the pressed state, and let you kind of handle outside the situation. So, if I want to use this pressed and I'm not interested in actions, like an action would be like this. I'm kind of opening the window, I'm pressing escape, and the action was executed. It's something similar with what Unity added recently, not recently, in the last 2 years, I think, but it's kind of recently, when they added those action mapping, or how it's called. So something similar we have also here, but pressed, it's something still valid. Like if you have something like key W, for example, and here we are doing something else, if key, I don't know, S, and we can use this. Of course, it will be much professionally if we are doing something like this. We first updating the time, the window, the input, and so on, and after that we can kind of do some logic for it. So we can have situation like this. We will use this situation, of course, because we have, like I showed, this is the game that we are trying to achieve, and we'll have map navigation. We will kind of go up and down, left, right, all that stuff, and we'll have situation where we'll use the pressed function or method, or how you want to call it, doesn't matter in the end. Yeah, I think that's pretty much kind of everything for today. I have some notes here. Let's see if I missed something, but it seems that I didn't. So that's pretty much everything. Yeah, I don't know if we have any more people here live. We have 12k subscribers. Those are real subscribers, are not bots or something. Every people here on the channel is a real person. Either that I don't have so much content. The answer, if anyone kind of asks like how this guy with few videos has a lot of number of subscribers, is that I promoted this channel on YouTube. It was very legal. It's like I put some money in it. I target some population. So probably this is how you kind of found the channel around. Okay. So yeah, Project Stone. I'm trying to achieve this game. I hope I will not lose access to the channel like I did previously. So we are doing this. I will continue with the videos. I will add more. we need to start working on the OpenGL stuff. We need to add shaders, buffers, textures, and all that stuff. This is a 2D game, so the engine that I'm trying to achieve for now, in the beginning, it will be for 2D games, but it will be written in a way that it will kind of it will be extensible to the 3D very easy. It will not be just with 2D in mind, it will be with 3D in mind, but in the beginning it will be used for a 2D game. I don't know about any other games that I will do in the future. I have 3 games in mind. This is the first one. Let's see how the first does and to see if we can continue with the second and the third one. If you have any feedback, comments, I'm always answering very quickly. I have the application on the mobile phone. If you are writing, I'm kind of checking regularly, so I'm answering the comments. If you have suggestions, you are welcome. I would like to have suggestions to get better. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that we have. If you have any questions now, before I go, it will be good. If not, I will just go. I wanted to be just an introductive situation for now. Like I said, this is a real graphics. It's not made by the AI. We are trying to have a look to it. With it, we're trying to make it look like something nice. It's not the final art. I will still improve it, and based on the feedback, based on the feeling when we'll have a game, let's say. And like I said, we will kind of do everything ourselves. We'll try not to use external libraries as much as possible. Of course, with this one will be kind of limited because I'm not, let's say, will not have from the beginning, let's say, a very advanced particle system, or I don't know, we will load in the beginning just TGA textures probably, if we don't want to use external ones that like STB, which kind of give us a very large range of how to say, texture formats or something like this. So we will kind of for a while, it will be a lot of work, but in the beginning we will have 100% control of what is in our engine and under the hood. And of course, if you have a GitHub account, some star follow there, it will be very great. And just for you to know, I'm working also offline on the game engine. I have an experimental branch where I kind of doing things in advance to see how they are working, if they are possible or not. And if you are following our GitHub page, for sure you can kind of be notified, or you can see the progress there. The progress that in the videos, it's a little slower. Yeah, we kind of start the project, let's say. Started the project. For a while, by the way, for a while we will see that we let's say we'll write a lot of code into the main file. We'll have a main file, big main file, but later on we will kind of put things code around. It will be organized and all that. About the schedule of the stream, in the beginning now I still need to do some couple of things with OpenGL, and we don't have them now available like in the modules, into the develop branch. So what it will like, what I can say is like in the next days I will drop a couple of videos on the OpenGL topics, and after that we will continue with the live streams. My let's say my dream is to kind of be able to have a video and a live stream each day, probably except the weekends. We'll see, but this is my dream to achieve with this channel and with this project, but we'll see. Until we have that, it will be either a video or let's say a video or a live stream. Yeah, that's pretty much everything on our side, on my side. If you have any questions, I'm here. You can write me the comments, you can whatever you want, you can drop a message and so on. Like I said, I'm always available if you write a comment or so. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day, evening, morning, whatever it's in your country. I know that I have people from across the globe here on the channel. So if you are seeing here, have a nice day and see you in the next live stream. And of course, into the videos. Why not? Because we are trying to achieve the game engine to power this beautiful game that I'm trying to make. So, have a nice day and see you next time. Bye bye.